Good evening, viewers. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the special episode of District Council Primary Election 2023, an interview with Councilman candidates Mr. Bollman. Welcome, Mr. Bollman.
Thank you so much.
Today, in our DTV studio, we are presenting Councilman Mr. Bollman for a special interview session. So, Mr. Bollman, this is a one-on-one interview. And so far we know you spent the past 11 years as a public servant of East Side neighborhood in City Hall. So neighborhood is Lovejoy District. And you graduated from the University of Buffalo with a bachelor's in political science. Your experience tenure as block club president, community organizing, drafting legislation to benefit the city, and assisting with capital and operating city budget planning. So, actually, my first question is, please describe your previous work in the community and how those experiences qualify for re-election as a councilman.
Great. Well, you guys really do your research. That was very good. I did go to the University of Buffalo. I studied political science. And after that, I worked different jobs. I really gained a lot of experience in different fields. I also was a real estate agent and then a real estate broker. So I really got to see a lot of different parts of the city and also sold real estate within the Lovejoy district. The most important experience I gained was working 12 years within the Lovejoy office with the prior Councilmember Fontana. And then in 2020, I started as council member, so this is the 4 years, the end of my first 4 years as council member in that first term. And you know, in my first 2 months in office, I faced COVID. COVID hit, and I had to really be adaptable. That experience, really, that I had prior gave me the connections. I knew the department heads, the different departments to call during this time of crisis. We also mobilized, and so we acted fast on our feet. We were able to work with food pantries. We worked with the county executive and different other elected officials in the state government to get masks, vaccines. We had vaccine clinics across the Lovejoy district. So we really mobilized and used our networks. We've built partnerships over the past 15 years. I was a block club president, but I also work with the board of block clubs of Buffalo and Erie County. So we know and have a lot of different partnerships with the block clubs, the residents, the businesses, and all those things come together. And we had to come together to help serve the residents. So all those things, the experience I built, really speak to what prepares me to do this job. Experience is the most important thing. Over the next 4 years, we're going to face challenges. You saw that the city just raised taxes on residents. The city budget, we're increasingly not bringing in the same amount of money that's going out. So there's a lot of challenges. So that's why experience is very important. You need to find and have a candidate in office that has the working knowledge of the city budget, working knowledge of the departments. And so, I'm that candidate. I've been doing this job. I've been working, I've been studying, I've learned by example and learned with the community through different examples and crises that we've experienced. So, those are the things that have prepared me to serve another term. And, starting with COVID, it made it a little more difficult to be able to drive funding to the district. But we have a lot of really good projects coming up for the next 4 years, hopefully if I'm elected. So I'm really excited. That's why I'm running. I'm running really strong, really hard, because it's important to me. I've built these relationships with the residents over the years, and I want to serve them and protect them.
So it looked like the challenge was more before, last term, and challenge is less for the next term.
We could hope. You can never predict the future. With the first 4 years I had with the pandemics and blizzards, it was very challenging. But that's how I feel. I'm ready for anything, and this experience has really prepared me to serve well.
So there is a rumor actually in especially in your city or some of, I mean, like in your locality, there is a safety issue or something like that. So how do you address this?
So the number one focus, everything we want to do in the Lovejoy district depends on safety. We want to see new businesses on our commercial corridor. So I was able to work with the state, and we were able to get grants for different corridors, that commercial corridors within the Lovejoy district, specifically Clinton, Lovejoy Street, and East Delavan. So new businesses will be having new improvements to their small businesses. We've opened a lot of businesses throughout my tenure, but those things don't thrive. We don't have great walkable communities without safety and security, So I have been very aggressive and worked in cooperation with the police department. I've always supported our police. I will continue to. I would say every month my staff and I attend, but I try to be there personally at the meetings. The chief of the district and our community officers, we hold meetings where the public can come in and tell us about different issues, different problems that they're seeing within the neighborhoods. And we've been very active in trying to respond to those issues. There'll be problem properties, right? And so I'll reach out to the property owner, we'll track them down, we work with the police, we work with building inspectors. So a safe community is the cornerstone of what we need for our communities to thrive. I've invested in police. When I first came into office, there was an issue with police cars. We didn't have enough police vehicles for our officers to be out on the street. So for the past 4 years, we've been continually investing in the budget and finding ways to get these officers more vehicles. And that's something not just over these last 4 years, that's a 20-year problem of not properly investing in our fleet, right? And we have those same challenges with the fire department and with the public works department. So that's why you really need to know, it's very easy to say, yes, we need more officers, yes, we need more police vehicles, but to be able to do that, to have the knowledge of how to properly budget for it, it's not that easy, so you have to work between different budgets. There's a city budget, there's a capital budget, and you try to find ways to, continually rebuild those fleets, hire more officers. We just hired and graduated another 23 officers last week. So we are trying to get more officers on the street, which speaks to a safer community. And then we work with the community police officers. I've personally done a program that's called the Councilman on Your Corner, where we invite the building inspector, we invite the community police officer, and we'll walk the street, knock on doors, talk to residents, ask them what's happening on their street and how can we help. So sure, there are incidents, there are challenges, but everything I want to do as a councilman over the next 4 years and these past 4 years depends on a safe community. So that's why I've supported the police and continually tried to invest in them.
Oh, that's a good thing. So the thing is actually, in the last 4 years, probably before the election, definitely you have promised something. And the next tenure, you have some promise too.
Sure.
So what is the difference with that, the old one and the new one?
So my first term, I kind of had a little slogan of being responsive, right? Responding to calls, and we have done that. Can't remember the slogan right now, but it was speaking to, we'll get right back to you. We take hundreds of phone calls every day from residents on issues big and small. And I'm proud of the relationship we've built with the residents through that, with the community. We're very much in touch with community leaders, with the residents calling our office. Residents will call 311 and maybe not know where their situation is at, so our office continually follows up. We work between 311 and the departments to find out where the situation is, what we're doing to remedy the issues, and we work from there. So my first was responsiveness and getting back to residents. This 4 years coming up is to deliver on the projects that we've built. We made a 4-year plan when I first got into office about the different parks, the different community centers, senior centers, the commercial corridors, how we secured those grants. This is about seeing those projects through. I don't think my opponent or some people really understand how many great things we have coming, because they don't know about it, but there's been a lot of work going on to secure funding. We have funding for all of our parks. Schiller Park, Hennepin Park, and Houghton Park have significant dollar amounts from the federal stimulus money, where those parks are going to see master plans and recreations and seeing how all the sports fields come back to play. We're looking at for Schiller Park potentially a cricket pitch.
Yeah.
So we just over the weekend I was by the South Buffalo Charter School and there's a cricket pitch behind there. I got to meet the teams, and so really trying to have places where families who are moving into our neighborhood can recreate and play. Having good senior centers so the seniors can come and enjoy their time. We always do events. I'm very close with the seniors across our district. And then having walkable commercial corridors on Genesee Street. And on all our corridors, we do beautification projects. We do American flags. We'll put up Juneteenth flags. We put up decorations. We put trash receptacles on our corridors to cut down on the trash. We do cleanups all the time. So I'm a very active council member. That will continue, but delivering on all these projects, which will speak to beautiful Lovejoy district, and things are good. And for that last question you had, violent crime is down in the city last year, so we have to keep that going, and until we get it to zero crime.
Okay, that's good. So, I mean, probably this is related with the safety and the social activities too. So, what is your solution for getting the homeless off the street in Lovejoy district?
Yeah, that is not an easy answer. So you want to do it in a way where you respect the individual in front of you. I was literally just on Seneca Street and we had 3 homeless individuals that were by a church and they happened to be sleeping on a bench. So we engaged the behavioral health team, and they are staffed with clinicians, mental health experts, but also police officers with them to be able to try to get them the assistance they need, get them the resources they need. So I've asked on the council for more officers in the behavioral health team, and they only work currently like 8-hour shifts during the daytime. We need them 24/7, so we're pushing for more shifts, more resources. And that's part of the thing too, is a lot of people don't understand the places that are available to them. So there's a lot of nonprofit organizations like Jericho Road, and just different organizations that could potentially help these individuals. So we have to get them help. We don't want to just look at, being aggressive with police officers. We have to find a solution to the problem, because if we don't, they'll just end up back on the street. So really trying to find a proper way to deal with the issue. And we have over the years, but it is an issue where some individuals refuse to help, so that puts you in a situation where it's really hard if they're not willing to. But we have done that over the years, and we definitely need to hire more mental health workers and officers, to be able to address the situation.
So actually, we had a big blizzard last year, and people had suffered a lot.
Yes.
So do you have any special plan on this, like for the future?
Yeah. So one thing is Lovejoy district, in every district, but the power went out, right?
Yeah.
And so I proposed an act, I called it the warm-up act, where across the city there were 3 warming shelters available. We know that's not enough. We need to have a plan to have one in every neighborhood. So I propose that we identify the buildings that are close to residents in each neighborhood and have access in case there was a situation. We also have to pay attention and have pre-positioned staff. So whether it be a school, whether it be a community center or a senior center, whatever resource in the community is the best asset, I want to see backup generators in those buildings. So if the power goes out, we still have heat for our residents. We know we lost a lot of lives during that blizzard. So I want one in every single neighborhood. The Board of Education and the school board members have identified 5 schools centrally located across the city that they're going to open up for now. Like, they're building my warm-up plan for that. And then I'm working with the city to say, let's look at our community centers, our senior centers. So we'll have adequate resources and centers for residents to seek refuge, but those centers have to have backup generators. They have to have some water, some cots and blankets for the residents to be able to safely, congregate there. So we don't want them to get in the building and not have a safe environment. So that is something I proposed. On top of that, we invested in more snow fighting equipment. We invested in more of the high lift tractors that were helpful. So during the storm, the first phase of the blizzard, the city plows were actually providing access for the electric company to get power back up for the people. So it was a really unique process. I do believe we have to be better prepared. If we don't learn from this situation, then it's all of our faults. Then it's on us at that point. But I have proposed that act, and it is moving forward. So having shelters and places for refuge, getting more equipment, and just being more on top of it. We proposed the emergency coordinator position. So this person would work with state, federal, and municipal agencies.
So is he appointed already?
He was budgeted for in this last budget, and the position we were told from the administration. So the administration does the hiring. We were told that the job is like open for they're hiring right now for it. So interviewing.
All right. So starting in 2024, Buffalo Common Council approves 13% salary increase with 5-3 vote, including mayor, common council members, the city controller, and school board members. So far as we know, you opposed about this. Can you explain why?
Yes. I did not feel in my heart that it was right to vote for a salary increase for myself when we're raising taxes on residents. And I really did go to my different block club members. I went to my residents and I talked it out with them. And everybody's struggling right now. The cost of inflation, prices on everything are going up. If we're raising taxes on residents, we got to feel the hurt a little bit too. I don't think it was appropriate for us to raise our salaries when we're raising and putting more of a burden on residents. So that's really just straight to the point why I wasn't in support of it.
Got it. So now, can you describe how you would react to a situation in which the council voted 4-3 to approve a very contestable issue, and you were one of the dissenting side?
Yeah, a salary increase could be an example of that. But over my past 4 years, I've had a lot of different votes that weren't easy. You had even some of the issues where both sides become very reasonable. But I know from being in this job for 15 years what the residents in my district want. And also, when those votes are coming up, you have time. You have time to research the issue, look into what everybody thinks about it, and I'll rely on my community, and I'll talk to the members in the community. Because ultimately, I represent the residents, so I need to know what they're thinking. And where the majority sways on that, that's what influences my opinion. And of course, I have my personal input and my beliefs on how the residents have always felt in this issue. And that's the experience thing, and that's what helps from being around for a while, is what the residents expect from you. They want you to be, consider the issue, be responsive, and talk to them. So that's really where I gauge my input, is from when we have been talking for years. I've been talking to these residents for 15 years. I know how they expect me to act on the council. And so it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, but you stand with your residents, whether it makes some of your colleagues uncomfortable, but you fight for the residents in this position.
Yeah, so a lot of things you already mentioned, but can you specify at least 3 qualities so that a council member should have?
Experience, and I'll say understanding of what's entailed in this duty, because this job is like nothing else. You're in City Hall, and so experience, and then time management, because you're always going to have more work than you could do, and you have to prioritize that work. So experience, time management, and community relationships. The partnerships, the relationships I've built with people over the past 15 years guide my decisions. They guide where this district is going. The residents have ideas and plans where we should be going, and that's where all that grant money is coming from. We've secured funding to be able to implement the community's agenda for the next 4 years and beyond. And I hope and I'm confident that if we continue going in this direction, we will be successful on a lot of the ideas that the residents have brought to me.
Okay, that's good. So there's a lot of illegal dumping is going on in Buffalo. So in this neighborhood, especially on the empty land.
Mhm.
We saw TV, tires, couches, and other garbage. So, what action are you gonna take on this?
I'm glad you asked that because there are in the Lovejoy district, we don't have as many vacant lots as other districts, but we do have our fair share, right? And we do experience illegal dumping. I myself have personally on Fridays when we're in the district, we call it District Day, we'll go clean up tires, we pick up TVs, the ones that are in the very visible spots. But the city sanitation department has been very good at picking it up as well. But we're not just picking up garbage that people are dumping on. So we've been able to track down and bill some of these owners. There's a very much a hot spot in my district. It's off of Walden. It's called West Shore. It butts up to a train track, and they dump over there. So what I did is I worked with an electrical company. They installed the pole. We put cameras on the pole. We put license plate readers on the pole. So we're actually able to catch and find these illegal dumpers. We've been able to track them down, and a lot of it is people who are cleaning out properties, a lot of landlord, slumlord type business owners, and then it's people from the suburbs. A lot of the time, if you look through some of the garbage that they leave, they'll leave a bill in there and it'll be Cheektowaga. I went to someone's house in Tonawanda that we found the address and asked them, and sure enough, she was cleaning out her property. She came and dumped it on us in the city of Buffalo. So we've been aggressive, but I'm going to get even more aggressive. I've allocated some money in this budget from our district funds to be able to buy more cameras for that West Shore area, buy more police cameras for our parks, so we could catch these illegal dumpers.
Okay. So, if you elected again, then what are you going to do for Buffalonian and our community?
Sure. I'll start with the ends for the for
So
your
you
community.
mean what
Yeah.
do I mean by our community?
Yeah. No, for your community, something that I was proud of, and I know we talked about the halal food. That was important, but I was also approached about the Eid holidays, right? So pushing that currently, and we've proposed something I'm the chairman of the education committee on the council. So that gives me relationships with the superintendent of school and the board members. So I've sent over a resolution to them to consider trying to look into the days off. Now, it's a little more complicated on this issue because the New York State makes the decision on the school calendar, so that plays into the days off and how many students, etc. But those are the things that are being considered right now, and my office is working with the school, so that's something you could look forward to. In general, we've built a great relationship with your community. I've hired Abul Hoke. He's been a great connection in breaking down the communication barrier if there are any in situations, so we're able to effectively communicate with the community. So we'll keep on building relations. Some things that we're looking into is on Eid holidays when we're bringing in so much traffic into certain areas, if it's the Eid celebration at the park or at the mosque when we know we have extended prayer hours, trying to make safer in and out with security officers. We've always pushed for more police presence during that time to make sure the community is safe. So we're going to continue pushing those things and continue building the relationship with the community.
And how about the Buffalonian? Other than
there's so many things that I could talk about, but for the Lovejoy district and the city of Buffalo, we have to right size our budget. We have to make sure that we are able to effectively provide quality of life. That is a huge issue in every district. We want clean streets, clean parks, we want clean business corridors. So we're building on a bunch of beautification projects across the district. And then also jobs. You wanted something new?
Yeah.
You wanted something new? We got jobs. I sponsored just a couple months ago a large job fair at the convention center. So I want to do more of that in my next term, trying to bring jobs and employers into the neighborhoods so they're able to see that. Infrastructure, right? Fixing the streets. We could talk about that. There's the federal infrastructure bill that was passed. That money is going to be coming into New York State. So this next term we'll be able to fix a lot of potholes. We'll be able to pave a lot of streets, fix a lot of sidewalks. So that's something I'll be absolutely focused on.
So there was a debate going on, but we didn't see you participate in any debate. Is there any particular reason?
I wasn't invited to the debate. So whoever held that debate, I wasn't invited. I would certainly debate my opponent any day of the week, but it's a little late in the race for that, but I just didn't have an invite to the debate. So.
Okay, so how about police defund? Do you support it or?
Absolutely not. I support the police every day of the week. I have a great working relationship with the police, and we work on issues. I talk to the police officers. I was on the phone on Sundays, and after issues happen, the officers have my cell phone. We communicate very well. The police chief, the community officers, we really work closely together, and it's important that we have a working relationship. Council and the police officers work hand in hand. Why would I defund the police when we have residents calling the office asking for more police? They want to see more residents, more police on their streets, and they want more of a presence. So that's something I've always pushed for. I would not support defunding the police.
We should thank you for actually arranging halal food in the school, public school actually. But there is a need of like Jabia halal. So how do you describe this?
Yeah, I did meet with the leaders of the community who are pushing this and are interested in this. So I came to an event where they were talking more about it, and I gained a lot of education from that. I would support that. So within the halal food process, we were able to start with a pilot program of a couple of different schools. Then we got it in all of the schools, but I want to make sure it's adequate for all the students. So what I did is I introduced the leader of the community who is pushing this and to the superintendent's staff, and we're trying to make that happen too. So making that connection, because I don't necessarily get into the cafeteria per se, but we do want to see that happen.
So Mr. Bollman, definitely you have an opponent. So what do you think about him?
Yeah, you know what? I think anyone has the right to run for office, and I serve at the pleasure of the residents and the voters. The voters put me in this position, and it's such an honor to have their support. But anybody can run for office, and I welcome the challenge, and I believe that the voters are going to assert their will no matter what. So that's part of being in this job, is you have to understand that you're here because of the voters, and I've always served at the pleasure of the voters.
All right, so that's a different type of question. Like if DTV welcome you to a debate session, if DTV arrange this, so what do you think? Will you able to do it?
Time's wearing thin, but I'm always open to looking into it.
All right. Okay, so what particular things you like about our community, and do you have anything to say about anything to the community?
Specifically, Chicken 65 is one of my favorites. DTV knows that. They were kind enough to bring me lunch, so I'm honored by that. But the community has been engaging and welcoming. I have a great relationship with Buffalo Islamic Cultural Center, the leaders there. We have really built a good foundation within the Lovejoy District office, and I'm proud to say that necessarily didn't exist before I got here, right? So as the community grew, especially during COVID, we were able to work together and build, and the community has always been so kind to me, and Imam and Abul from my staff, they have really helped me get closer with the community, and I've always appreciated the kindness they've showed to myself and my office.
Anything about seeking vote?
I want everybody to understand that this next 4 years is extremely important. There are challenges that lie ahead with the budget. I've been on the finance committee for The last 4 years, I've looked at city budgets for many years. I understand how things work. I'm in the community. I'm visible. I work with everyone. I'm proud to serve everyone. And voting for a leader that's visible is extremely important. You need to know what you're doing. Experience very much matters. So I need everyone's vote. We have to embrace our diversity. We have to work together. We're a growing community. We're an extremely diverse community in the Lovejoy district, and I'm proud of that. And we have to continue working together. So I am seeking everyone's vote during early voting and on 27th. And I'm so honored to be able to do this job on a daily basis.
So, Mr. Bollman, thank you to be here in DTV studio. Do you have anything to say about DTV?
Yeah, I think this studio has been wonderful. DTV does a wonderful job, and I appreciate their professionalism.
Okay, so dear viewers, we are almost end of the session. This is a special episode of the primary election, Democratic primary election. So I think everybody is doing well, and have a nice good night, and probably we will see you in the vote. Thank you very much.